The movie begins with a question. We were given life billions of years ago, so what did we do with it? Humans have lived many lives. What have they done for nature? This movie tells us what happened if a human used 100% of his brain power. Now, we meet a girl named Lucy who's with her friend. He shows her a bag and tells her to take it to a man in a hotel. In return, they'll get $1,000. But Lucy says it's too little for her. When she refuses, her friend handcuffs the bag to her and insists she goes into the hotel. Lucy has no choice but to do what he says. She goes to the hotel's front desk and asks for Mr. Jang. Suddenly, some people shoot her friend at the hotel entrance. They catch Lucy and take her to a hotel room. Mr. Jang, with bloody hands, washes up and asks Lucy what's in the bag. Scared and crying, Lucy says she doesn't know. Her friend just asked her to deliver it. Mr. Jang shares the code for the suitcase and demands Lucy open it. She worries if it's a bomb, but Mr. Jang doesn't trust her friend and pushes her to open it. When Lucy opens the suitcase using the code, she finds 4 blue packets, which seem to be some sort of substance. Mr. Jang's men bring in a man to test the substance. He sniffs it, starts acting strange, and laughs loudly. Mr. Jang doesn't like his reaction and shoots the man in front of Lucy. Mr. Jang offers Lucy a job, but she refuses. His men hit her and she faints. The scene changes to a professor in a lecture, explaining that animals use only 3% of their brains, but humans use 10%. Dolphins are even smarter, using 20%. The professor says if a human used 20% of their brain, they could control their body completely. Using 40%, they could control others. A boy in the audience asks what would happen if someone used 100% of their brain, and the professor doesn't know. Lucy wakes up, finding bandages on her stomach and feeling pain. She believes they've taken something from her body. As she's leaving, some people take her to Mr. Jang. Lucy demands to know what they did to her. A doctor explains that they didn't harm her but placed a packet of substance in her stomach. 3 other people have the same substance, and they're supposed to deliver it. If anyone tries to run away, their families will be killed. Jang's men, with covered faces, take Lucy and the others away. Lucy ends up in a closed room with the man she was supposed to deliver the substance to. He tries to force himself on her, but when she resists, he starts beating her. During the fight, he hits her in the stomach, causing the substance in her stomach to burst into her bloodstream. With the substance in her blood, Lucy's body starts to act strangely. She experiences pain and begins to levitate. When she regains consciousness, she's different. She's not the same Lucy as before. When the man who had misbehaved with her comes back, she beats him up and escapes from the room. Outside, she confronts the people there, taking them down one by one. She even gets shot but effortlessly removes the bullet. It's like she doesn't feel any pain. Lucy continues her rampage, taking a taxi to a hospital where doctors are operating on a patient. She sees the patient's brain on a screen, kills him, and questions the doctors. It's like she knows things she shouldn't. Lucy tells a doctor about the substance in her stomach, and he's scared. He performs an operation, removing a substantial amount of the CPH4 substance. The doctor is shocked. He wonders how Lucy is still alive. Lucy informs the doctor that her time is limited. She gets better and returns to confront Yang. She takes out his men one by one and then goes after Zhang. She stabs knives into both of his hands and demands to know the location of the other people with the substance in their stomachs. When Zhang remains silent, Lucy reads his mind, discovering where the others were sent. Lucy's brain is now working beyond its limits, allowing her to see how trees grow and acquire nutrients from the ground. Lucy goes to her friend's house and uses her laptop to research the professor we saw at the beginning of the story, Samuel, who was talking about the brain. Samuel had been studying the human brain for 20 years. Lucy finds all the information about him and contacts him. She tells Samuel that she's read 7,000 pages on his website and knows all of his research by heart. However, Professor Samuel is skeptical. But in the next moment, Lucy appears on Samuel's TV screen because she's now using 28% of her brain. This allows her to control electronic devices. Lucy assures Samuel that everything in his research is correct and that she knows a lot. Samuel suggests she share her knowledge with others. Lucy wants to meet him, so she changes her appearance and goes to the airport. There, she identifies the men with the substances in their stomachs and alerts the police. She sends their pictures to the police, and they start their work, capturing those individuals. Lucy has now increased her brain usage to 40%, and her body is breaking down. Her skin feels like it's burning. She hides in a bathroom, takes the drug packet, and loses consciousness. When she wakes up, she's in the hospital, and she can now use 50% of her brain. The police arrive to arrest Lucy, but she uses her abilities to make them all unconscious except for the inspector. This aligns with what Professor Samuel said about a person being able to control others when using more than 40% of their brain. As Lucy increases the substance in her body, her brain can work to its full potential. The people who are caught are taken to the hospital to remove the substances from their stomachs, and Lucy accompanies the inspector. Lucy's brain power has increased so much that she can now listen to the phone calls of the entire city. She discovers that Zhang's people have also arrived at the hospital. Lucy rushes there, and the people from Zhang stand with their guns, but they can't stand in front of Lucy for long. She sends them flying through the air, and their weapons stick to the roof like magnets. Lucy effortlessly dispatches anyone who stands in her way, sending them crashing into walls and leaving holes in the walls. She takes the bag, with the substances she had obtained from the doctor, and invites the inspector to join her. The inspector, awestruck by Lucy's abilities, feels she no longer needs his help. Lucy, however, appreciates his presence and insists he come along. Lucy heads to meet Professor Samuel, but Zhang has noticed her movements and begins following her with his men. Meanwhile, Professor Samuel has gathered a group of experts in various fields for a meeting. Lucy arrives, and the experts are amazed to meet her. However, one professor harbors doubts about Lucy, but she quickly addresses his skepticism by revealing personal information about his daughter's tragic accident when she was 6 years old, information no one else could have known. This revelation earns her the trust of the group. Lucy starts sharing her knowledge with the experts and demonstrates her newfound abilities, like morphing her hand into various forms. She challenges the conventional notion of numbers, explaining that they are human-made concepts to understand the world better. When questioned about how the world functions without mathematics, she clarifies that time is the critical factor, and without it, existence is meaningless. While Lucy imparts her knowledge, Zhang and his men surround the building. The inspector realizes they can't hold them off for long. Lucy decides to inject herself with the CPH4 substance she brought from the hospital. She plans to create a computer to store her knowledge for the benefit of humanity. Both Lucy and Professor Samuel understand the risks of using such a high dose of the substance, but Lucy is willing to make the sacrifice. Lucy harnesses 70% of her brain's potential to manipulate the room's metals and energy, constructing a massive computer to store her knowledge. She then pushes herself to use 80% of her brain to create a computer capable of holding her vast knowledge. Lucy pushes her brain to its limits, allowing her to transcend time itself. She gains the power to travel through time. She ventures back thousands of years and arrives in the era of dinosaurs. Going even further back, she reaches a time with no human presence, only early human ancestors resembling animals. However, using so much of her brain causes her body to gradually vanish. When she reaches 99% brain usage, she soars into the sky, witnessing the formation of Earth. Zhang follows her, but just as he's about to harm her, Lucy reaches 100% brain usage and vanishes. And here, a question became for you that if you unlock your 100% brain potential, what you want to do and what will want to achieve? Tell me in comment box. After this, the inspector arrives and takes down Zhang. Lucy returns to Professor Samuel and hands him a pen drive containing all her brain's data. When the inspector asks where Lucy is, he receives a message: "I am everywhere." The story concludes with the same voice that began the story, pondering how, over billions of years, humans have been given a powerful computer, the brain, yet many only use their bodies for earning money, without truly understanding their potential. And with that, the movie's story comes to an end.